Up left here, the reigning IEM champion. It is soO.
And to the bottom right as the blue Protoss, he is Zest, a previous IEM champion.
Stop stealing my intros, get your own intros.
But they're so good. It's the sincerest form of flattery.
Well, we got a probe scout here from Zest, nice and early, trying to block that hatchery. Scout slash block.
soO goes for a gas first.
All right.
And a pool.
Pool first.
Like, screw your pro block.
Yeah.
It's going to do this anyways.
Well, this is the kind of thing that can really spiral out of control. soO is, and has been, even today, in his series is like against Armani, and here against Zest again, being quite aggressive. So, not a surprise at all. The pro's going to go up in the main base and have a little bit of look-see, and Zest, being the pro gamer that he is, should have an answer in mind.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really need to see the pool. He knows it's on the way.
Yeah. You see that gas, it's not being mined for aesthetic reasons.
Yeah, oh, the double block is good.
Nice block.
soO was really hoping that would be canceled. He could take it, but the probe, very well timed. Zest, no strong reaction to the opener so far, continuing on with the block. And he is going to go for some export first. If he didn't, I'd be like, what are you doing? That's pretty mad. I do want to point out before things get too hairy, the drone really wants to get in there. Is he never going to let this guy have his hatchery?
I mean,
apparently not.
It kept looking like soO was like, I'm done. Okay, I'm going to take third. No, I really want this one. And then Zest keeps taking it away from him, and soO's like, all right, fine, I'll go get the other. No, I don't want that one. No, I want this one.
Oh, man.
I mean, we are still a one-base Zerg here. It's nearly 2 minutes in. This is pretty bad for soO.
He's also forcing the Lings to deal with this as well, not just blocking out a hatchery that should be down. That's pretty great. Finally, he gets the hatchery down. But anyways, before anything like Strong's Heart starts, which not really happening, but Zest did have to respond and take it seriously. Like, this is kind of revenge for Zest. Last Katowice in 2019, soO did 3-0 him on his, well, it was a bit of a blaze of glory, right? Like, soO was not expected to do well. He didn't do particularly well after Katowice, but that was his moment. And we all know the ending was a great championship. You were casting it. It was fantastic.
I did. Late and great friend Jeffrey in control on the other mic as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the games weren't incredible, but the story of soO winning finally was such a very emotional moment for everyone. Super incredible moment. Never going to forget it, that's for damn sure.
Yeah. But Zest, he really wants another championship, you know?
Oh, of course.
Like, I'm not just PvP, man. I can take out the Zergs, too, because he doesn't even have any turns to worry about.
It'd be really awesome for Zest to say, hey, I know the start of the year is my stopping ground. I'm going to win online tournament after online tournament. I'm going to win a ton of points. But then he's going to be, hopefully, bringing those skills to the stage. And so far, he's looking really good. Honestly, game one was very, very solid. This game's been going well for him so far. soO's just double expanding here to try and catch a little bit up to where he wants to be in economy at this point.
Yeah. It does go into that 3-hatch. No, not a lot of Lings on the way, but then a gateway and right into Warp Prism, actually.
Yeah, aggressive opening here for Zest.
It's just walling off
It's getting to about that point where as a Zerg in a normal build order, you'd head towards getting a Roach Warren. At the moment, soO can still just make Lings and Queens, which if you ask some players will say will hold everything, but it's not completely true.
I'm going to say, I expect an Immortal at some point. There we go.
There we go.
He's going to get some harassment first with the Warp Prism, which is obviously shown, right? There's some really like wonky attacks that can happen with this opener that you do like hit like very, very early. It almost looks laughable how many units come across the map, but then suddenly it's like force fields, right? Like they're pretty good. But is that as intense? He does have, I thought it was a Depthman across the map, but the Sentry really wants his Overlord, so.
Well, that's kind of why you need to get the Roach Warren, right? Because if you don't have a Roach Warren, you don't have Ravages, and then Sentries really ruin your day. This is Force Field City.
He's showing only the 3rd gas. That's what the Overlord can see. He didn't actually take the 4th gas. So, Lord. I didn't even see either one, actually. But, yeah, with the Robo build, you usually see the 3 gases. Is he going to mine from it? Slowly. Slowly but surely.
Slowly over time.
I love this Overlord. Just does not want to die, by the way.
It's the little Overlord that could, but unfortunately it can't. See ya. All right, well, time to get some Prism damage across the map. soO has started his lair. He's still macroing up. He's still squeezing out a last round of drones here, but it is time to make units. Zest going across here with the warp ins available. He's got a bunch of gateways about to finish up as well, and probably looking to just get a ton of sentries in here with that Immortal.
A fair few. You know, making a second Immortal. even though you're only on 2 gas for a while. The 3rd gas was slowly saturated. But this is what I'm talking about, like such a small number of units, right? And while the force fields aren't the big part here, that's when there's like 3 or 4 sentries, it's still the War Prism juggle, right? That is so bothersome. So ideally you don't lose any units. I'd say I'd be even so harsh to say you're not supposed to lose shields or whole health, only shields. But there's the attack I'm talking about coming now with those sentries, with the gateways finishing up. And Zest is trying to posture, already get soO a little tilted, already get him not producing the right units, which...
He's making lings right now, which don't break force.
There we go. There we go.
There's our roaches. 6 of those on the way here for soO. He does still have so many lings. That's a ton of lings. If he can catch these sentries exposed, that'd be a really dream scenario here for soO. Sentries pulled back. They got 1 force field to the south side, and they keep themselves in a little force field donut with the Immortal plugging the hole. Nice positioning there from Zest.
Yeah, that was a really nice attempt by soO, though. I think he knew that was what's, you know, he saw them moving out. He wants to know exactly where they are.
Good catch.
He finally catches them as there's not that much force field energy on those pretty brand new sentries, but here we have a lot more. And Stalkers being warped, and they're going to work out well against the low number of roaches. The lings come back for a surround. I don't think it's going to be enough. There's just not a lot here for soO.
Ooh, the Bile's actually connecting there on those sentries. soO still bleeding a lot of resources, though. You're absolutely right, Zombie Grub. And the Prism is still there to juggle, and not only that, but reinforce as well. And he's just making Stalkers because that's all he needs to be able to punch through a lot of roaches and queens.
Yeah, 2 sentries. Or the 2 Immortals, a handful of sentries, so powerful in the early game, and soO perhaps waiting just a little bit too long to actually produce those roaches, and more importantly, to produce those Ravagers. Has already been forced to pull the drones. They've died, and he's still having a lot of trouble.
He certainly is. This does not look good for the reigning champ. Zest looking the best right now. Started stepping back towards that 3rd base. That 3rd base is always in trouble. Zest was that War Prism, but it just unsieges in time to get out of harm's way. But even if it died, Zombie Grub, I feel like the army that's here right now can still put soO in a critical condition.
I feel like this attack was so common, like maybe, oh man, like a year ago up to this point, maybe? Like, I do believe this is going to be victory. The Warpin, oh man, the Warpin's really just sealing the deal visually right there. The 2 Immortals also probably have their shields back. soO is finally going to go ahead and tap out a 2-0 for Zest.